Hey guys, it's Claire from clarepels.com coming to you from Buenos Aires where it is pouring rain. So if you hear that, my bad. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use audience insights to find more interest to target in your Facebook ads. So I'm here in my ads manager. I'm going to come over to the left to audience insights. Now, every time I do this from the ads manager, this pops up, this question about which audience to start with. I'm always going to choose everyone on Facebook because that's what I end up doing anyway. It always seems. So I've already got the United States set, but everything else is sort of open. What you're seeing here is just a lot of information about people on Facebook. I'm going to dive right into some interests so you can see how you can use one interest to find more for your ads. So I'm going to come over here and type in Seth Godin. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so right now we're looking at all the people who like Seth Godin's page in the United States from the age of 18 and up, both genders. And you've got a lot of demographics, and these are some funny lifestyle groups that Facebook puts together, like city mixers, who are households of single urbanites. These are really interesting to read, and I'm going to let you dive into them on your own. I guess you can see that in the case of Seth Godin, the most popular quote unquote lifestyle group is savvy singles that like his page. But what mostly interests us is page likes. They've split this up into categories and page likes. So the categories are, what's their product or service that most people like, business person, software, education, etc. So this is already pretty interesting because it hadn't occurred to me to necessarily use something like Moz, which is a software that I'm sure a lot of my target audience might be interested in using in my targeting. I was sort of thinking, oh, what are other people that are like Seth Godin? But definitely you want to use software, other companies. If they have the same audience, they don't have to be, like a very small business like you. They don't have to have the same products or services as you. They can have different products and services. Then, none of these are really that surprising. Brendan Bouchard, John C. Maxwell, Anthony Robbins. And then you can come down and see specifically what are the page likes. Now, Facebook shows this, they've divided it up by relevance, which is, a number that they come up with. Affinity, I'm not too worried about these because, you can kind of get a sense just by looking at it whether or not they make sense to target in your business. And the good thing is in like the top part of these lists, these pages can almost always, not always, but almost always be found in the Power Editor where when you're putting in interests. You know how a lot of times you'll put in a page that you really like. I just tried to put in the Middle Finger Project that definitely has an audience similar to mine. But it doesn't pop up in the Power Editor under interests, which is really frustrating. So this is a good place to look for interests that are most likely going to be available for you to use in the Power Editor. So what if I want to get a little bit more specific about my people? I don't target 18-year-olds. I would probably go up to around 30 to 50-ish. Let's just say that. And in general, I target women. So look how things changed. You actually have a lot more interest categories that are more female specific, and that makes sense. So Success Magazine is still up there, but it's also paired with Real Simple, which, if you're familiar with, is a magazine that has, actually I'm not totally sure because all I have is the Real Simple Wedding edition, but it's certainly catered to women. I wouldn't necessarily have thought to use that in my targeting, but since I can take something like Real Simple that has a pretty big audience, I believe, and add more demographics or add a filter like Facebook page admins, that might be an interesting thing for me to target. Maybe a lot of other small businesses aren't going to be targeting Real Simple when they're trying to reach business owners. but there may be a real group of business owners in that audience. As you know, when you target really popular interests like Brendan Bouchard and Seth Godin, Marie Forleo, your ads can cost a lot of money because the sheer fact that everyone's targeting them. So that drives up the cost of your impressions. So the idea here, in addition to finding more interests for you to target, it's also to hopefully find some less expensive interests that still make sense for your Facebook ads. So just going to scroll down here, take a look at the page likes. Now I can tell you that Entrepreneurs Academy at the moment is not in the Power Editor. You can't select it as an interest. Very frustrating. I'm not sure why. So you will have to do some trial and error to see if these work out. Now, a lot of these interests I kind of already know they don't have the right target audience for me. So just because they share fans with Seth Godin and maybe a lot of my fans are also fans of Seth Godin doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good fit for my ads. But I want to show you an example of something that I did recently for a client. It really changed our cost per meal, which is how much it costs to show your ads to 1,000 people. So one of the interests was Match.com, and I found obviously there were other websites that are very similar to Match.com, eHarmony, JDate, so those were sort of my obvious targets. But it honestly hadn't occurred to me to target something like K Jewelers because, I'm thinking, all right, well, that's probably for more people who are engaged. But that's not true. Women who are interested in getting married, even if they aren't dating anyone yet, which is the target audience of my client, they might still be interested in checking out K Jewelers or other jewelers. Just because they're interested. I mean, how many different things do you like on Facebook, even though you might not be the target audience at the moment? So what I was able to do is I took some of these non-traditional interests. I think one of them, I am fed up with your lies and cheating. I had never heard of that page. But since I could take something like that and filter out a lot of people by the relationship status. I'm only looking for single people. So the same thing with the jewelers. I was able to show these ads to people who are interested in getting married, but are still single because they have put that in their Facebook page that they're single. So this is a great way to try out non-traditional or maybe out of the box interests, but also using other demographics to really keep it laser focused on the right people to see your ads. So that is a very, very, very quick look at audience insights. There is a lot in here, but I know that people really struggle with the fact that they can't target the pages that they want to with their Facebook ads because they just don't show up in the Power Editor. So I wanted to give you this quick look at how you can use audience insights to hopefully find some other pages, some other categories and companies that you can try in your Facebook ad targeting. If you have any questions at all, please head over to the blog, clairepells.com/blog, and leave them for me in the comments.